The Galactic Council erupted into a chorus of shocked gasps as Tyler Miller, a mere human, unveiled his fusion reactor, a device so advanced it threatened to upend the cosmic balance of power. The stunned silence that followed was broken only by the incredulous muttering of the alien delegates, their disbelief palpable in the cavernous chamber. Tyler stood before the council, his heart pounding with a mixture of pride and trepidation. At 32 years old, he had achieved what many considered impossible for a species as primitive as humans. His compact fusion reactor, capable of generating immense power while consuming minimal fuel, was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. As he demonstrated the reactor's capabilities, the Bolian representative Ceres, a towering figure with blue skin and 4 muscular arms, openly scoffed at the notion that humans could have created such technology. "Impossible," Ceres declared, his deep voice dripping with disdain. "These humans must have stolen this technology from a more advanced race." Tyler felt his frustration mounting as the other council members nodded in agreement, their condescending attitudes toward humanity on full display. He had worked tirelessly to prove that humans were capable of great things, and yet here he was, facing a wall of prejudice and disbelief. Just as Tyler opened his mouth to defend his invention and his species, a deafening explosion rocked the council headquarters station. Alarms blared and chaos erupted as delegates were thrown to the ground, some badly injured by flying debris. Amidst the confusion, Tyler caught a glimpse of a Bolian saboteur fleeing the scene, a sinister grin on his face. In that moment, Tyler realized the terrible truth. The Bolians had orchestrated this attack to steal his fusion reactor technology for themselves. With the council in disarray and security forces closing in, Tyler knew he had only one chance to escape and warn Earth of the impending Bolian invasion. The fate of humanity now rested on his shoulders, and failure was not an option. As Tyler and Jack's ship breached Earth's atmosphere, their hearts sank at the sight before them. The once vibrant blue planet was now marred by the scars of war. Massive Bolian ships, sleek and menacing, hung in low orbit, their advanced energy weapons raining destruction upon the helpless cities below. Skyscrapers crumbled, fires raged, and the screams of the innocent filled the air. "My God," Jack whispered, his voice trembling. "We're too late." Tyler gritted his teeth, rage boiling within him. The Bolians had caught Earth off guard, and the Earth Defense Force was struggling to mount an effective response. The EDF's ships, while advanced by human standards, were no match for the Bolian fleet's superior firepower and sheer numbers. "We have to do something," Tyler said, his mind racing. "My fusion reactor technology could be the key to turning the tide of this war." He reached for the ship's communication console and hailed Dr. Samuel Weaver, his mentor and the brilliant scientist who had helped him develop the reactor. The 60-year-old scientist's face appeared on the screen, his expression grave. "Tyler, thank God you're alive," Dr. Weaver said, his voice strained. "I've been working on a secret project integrating your fusion reactor technology into a new weapon, the fusion cannon. It's a massive, ship-mounted weapon capable of firing a concentrated beam of fusion energy. It could destroy the Bolian ships with a single shot." Tyler's eyes widened. "Where is it?" "At a secret EDF research facility in the Nevada desert," Dr. Weaver replied. "But there's a problem. The facility has been surrounded by Bolian ground forces. They're trying to capture the prototype." Tyler and Jack exchanged a determined look. "We have to get to that facility before the Bolians do," Tyler said. As they approached the Nevada desert, the scale of the Bolian invasion became even more apparent. The once barren landscape was now a war zone, with Bolian troops and armored vehicles engaging EDF forces in fierce battles. Explosions rocked the ground, and the air was thick with smoke and the stench of death. Tyler piloted their ship low, weaving between the dunes and rocky outcroppings to avoid detection. They could see the EDF research facility in the distance, its reinforced walls and turrets, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. "We need a plan to break through those Bolian lines," Jack said, studying the tactical display. "It won't be easy." Tyler nodded, his mind already formulating strategies. They had to succeed not just for Earth but for the entire galaxy. The fusion cannon could be the only thing standing between the Bolians and total domination. Tyler clenched his fists as he stared at the tactical display. Colonel Briggs, an old friend and seasoned EDF Special Forces commander, stood beside him, his brow furrowed. "We need the best of the best for this mission," Tyler said. "Can you assemble a team?" Briggs nodded. "I've got just the soldiers for the job. We'll get you to that research facility, no matter what it takes." Within hours, a squad of 12 elite EDF operatives had gathered, each clad in cutting-edge powered armor and armed to the teeth with pulse rifles and plasma grenades. They boarded a heavily armored transport ship, its hull gleaming in the sun. As they neared the Nevada desert, a squadron of sleek Bolian fighters appeared on the horizon, their energy weapons glowing menacingly. The transport's pilot, a grizzled veteran, yanked the controls, sending the ship into evasive maneuvers. Sergeant Mike Torres, the transport's gunner, gritted his teeth as he aimed the railguns. With a roar, the guns spat out a hail of super-accelerated rounds, tearing through the Bolian fighters. Explosions lit up the sky as several enemy craft disintegrated. But the Bolians were relentless. Energy beams sliced through the transport's armor, alarms blaring as systems failed. Smoke filled the cabin, and the ship shuddered under the onslaught. "We're going down!" the pilot yelled, struggling to keep the ship steady. The transport hit the ground hard, skidding across the desert sand before coming to a halt. Tyler, Jack, Colonel Briggs, and the remaining EDF soldiers kicked open the hatches and emerged from the wreckage, weapons at the ready. A horde of Bolian troops surrounded the crash site, their energy rifles and hover tanks aimed at the humans. Colonel Briggs barked orders, and the EDF soldiers fanned out, taking cover behind the transport's debris. The air crackled with energy as the two forces clashed. Pulse rounds and plasma grenades streaked through the air, met by searing beams of Bolian weaponry. Soldiers on both sides fell, their cries lost in the chaos of battle. Tyler and Jack fought side by side, their weapons spitting death at the Bolian lines. Colonel Briggs led the charge, his powered armor absorbing hits as he closed in on the enemy tanks. Inch by bloody inch, the humans pushed forward, their determination and superior tactics turning the tide. The Bolians fell back, their ranks thinning under the relentless assault. Finally, the EDF soldiers broke through, storming into the research facility. Inside, they found Dr. Weaver and his team, their faces lined with exhaustion and fear. "Tyler, thank God," Dr. Weaver said. "The fusion cannon, it's almost ready, but—" A cold laugh echoed through the facility. Tyler spun around, his heart dropping as he saw Ceres emerge from the shadows, flanked by a squad of Bolian elite soldiers. "You're too late, human," Ceres sneered. "The fusion cannon is mine, and with it, the galaxy will bow before the might of the Bolian Empire." The Bolian infiltrators surged forward, their energy weapons crackling as they clashed with the EDF soldiers in the cramped confines of the research facility. Colonel Briggs barked orders, coordinating his team's movements as they used their intimate knowledge of the facility's layout to outmaneuver the enemy. Tyler and Jack fought their way through the chaos, their powered armor absorbing glancing blows from the Bolian weapons. They burst into the fusion cannon's control room, only to find Dr. Weaver grappling with Ceres, the Bolian's four arms gripping the scientist in a vice-like hold. Ceres snarled, his fingers flying across the control panel as he input the activation codes. Dr. Weaver struggled against the alien's superior strength, his face contorted in pain and desperation. Without hesitation, Jack lunged at Ceres, his armored fist connecting with the Bolian's jaw. The two tumbled to the ground, locked in a brutal melee. Tyler raced to Dr. Weaver's side, helping the scientist to his feet. Together, they turned their attention to the fusion cannon's controls. Dr. Weaver's fingers danced across the panel, his years of experience and intimate knowledge of the weapon guiding his movements. The cannon hummed to life, a bright blue glow emanating from its core. Ceres, realizing his plan was unraveling, threw Jack aside and charged at Tyler and Dr. Weaver. Jack recovered quickly, tackling the Bolian from behind. The two crashed through the control room's window, shards of glass glittering in the air as they plummeted to the ground below. Tyler, Dr. Weaver, and the remaining EDF soldiers raced to the fusion cannon, its energy pulsing with barely contained power. They targeted the massive Bolian dreadnought in orbit, the ship that had directed the invasion from the beginning. With a blinding flash of sapphire light, the fusion cannon unleashed its fury. The dreadnought vanished in a searing instant, reduced to atoms along with several nearby Bolian ships. The remaining enemy forces, their flagship destroyed and their commander defeated, scattered in disarray, fleeing the Earth's orbit. As the whine of Bolian engines faded into the distance, Tyler and the battered remnants of the EDF team staggered out of the research facility into the harsh Nevada sun. The air reeked of ozone and burnt metal. Tyler's armor was scorched and dented, his face streaked with soot and blood. He looked around at the carnage, his eyes settling on a crumpled form lying next to a smoldering hover tank. He ran over, his heart pounding, and knelt beside Jack's lifeless body. His best friend's armor was shattered, his chest a ruined mess of blood and torn flesh. Rage, white-hot and all-consuming, surged through Tyler's veins. He heard a weak cough and turned to see Ceres, the Bolian commander, lying nearby, his blue skin charred and his forearms twisted at unnatural angles. Tyler stood, unslinging his pulse rifle. He aimed it at Ceres's head, his finger tightening on the trigger. He wanted nothing more than to watch the alien's skull burst like a ripe melon. "Tyler, don't!" Dr. Weaver shouted, limping over. His lab coat was torn and his face was bruised. "We need him alive. He has information we need." Tyler's jaw clenched. The rifle shook in his hands. "He deserves to die," he growled through gritted teeth. "And he will," Dr. Weaver said, placing a hand on the barrel of the rifle and pushing it down. "But not like this, not in cold blood. We're better than that." Tyler let out a shuddering breath and lowered the weapon. He knew Dr. Weaver was right, but it didn't make it any easier. In the weeks that followed, as humanity began to pick up the pieces, Ceres's interrogation revealed a shocking truth. The Bolians had not acted alone. The Galactic Council, that supposed bastion of peace and cooperation, had been pulling the strings all along. They had seen humanity's rapid progress, the leaps and bounds made possible by Tyler's fusion reactor technology, and they had grown afraid of the potential threat that humans posed to their power and authority. And so, they had plotted in secret, funneling resources and intelligence to the Bolians, orchestrating the invasion of Earth in a desperate bid to subjugate humanity and seize control of the fusion technology for themselves. When confronted with the evidence, the Council played innocent. They branded Ceres a rogue agent, a renegade who had acted without their knowledge or consent. But the people of Earth knew better. They had seen the truth with their own eyes, written in the blood of their fallen. Tension simmered as Earth's leaders demanded justice and accountability from the Council. Many humans called for war, for retribution against those who had betrayed them so utterly. Tyler, his heart heavy with the weight of Jack's death and the Council's treachery, emerged as a leading voice for humanity's independence. He knew, now more than ever, that Earth could not rely on the galactic community for protection or support. And so he threw himself into his work, pouring his grief and anger into a new project. A mighty fleet of human warships, each one equipped with a fusion cannon of its own. He would ensure that never again would Earth be caught unprepared. Never again would they be at the mercy of alien powers. As the story drew to a close, Earth stood at a precipice, teetering on the brink of a new and uncertain era. The once peaceful galactic order lay in shambles, torn apart by betrayal and mistrust. And humanity faced a choice: to bend the knee and submit to the Council's authority, or to stand tall and forge their own path among the stars. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.